Located almost in the heart of Garner, Ainville Acres, Appaloosas is a long-running family-owned farm. James grew up on this farm and fell in love with horses at an early age. Before enrolling in an agricultural education course, James only ever took care of his own horses. For his SAE, James wanted to extend his responsibilities and help out more with the horses being boarded at his family's farm while learning how to run a successful business. When James started his SAE, he knew very little about running a business. Now, James takes on responsibilities on the farm, such as talking with customers, booking their horses, feeding and watering all of the horses, cleaning stalls, and cleaning the tacked area, all without the help of his parents. In class, James has learned about financial statements, which he can directly relate to the business aspect of his SAE project. His understanding about net worth, inventory, depreciable versus non-depreciable assets and liabilities has taken off since the start of this project. During the summer, James's agricultural teachers visit the farm to check in with James and talk with his parents about his progress. James' parents have been critical in helping communicate any needs or concerns about his SAE. His teachers like to touch base with his parents regularly to make sure James is meeting their expectations since they are the ones who are supervising the majority of his project. Besides visiting the farm, James's teachers stay up to date on his SAE project by checking the journal entries and pictures he has input into the SAE website, theaet.com. They do this every 6 weeks just to make sure he is making progress and staying on track to receive his state degree this summer. James has already earned his Green Hannah Chapter Awards, and he is now working towards earning his State Degree and Proficiency Award. When you evaluate James's SAE based on the Kolb's experimental learning model, you can see his SAE fitting in each of the components of this model. Before this SAE, James had very little experience helping with his parents' business. Now, not only does he have an appreciation, but also an understanding of how to run a successful business, which demonstrates the concrete experience part of the model. As James writes the journal entries required for his SAE project, he spends time reflecting on what he has accomplished and what else needs to be done. Reflective observation is a critical step in helping James's SAE project take off. As James's parents mentor him through the process of running a business, they help him evaluate what is and isn't working. Through this, James has learned to make adjustments and plan for the future, which portrays the abstract conceptualization and active experimentation parts of the model. FFA is centered around personal growth, premier leadership, and career success. James's SAE project is centered around him taking on a leadership role in the family business, which illustrates the premier leadership and personal growth outlined in the FFA mission statement. One great thing about this particular SAE is that the career potential is endless. If James chooses to, he could continue to work for his family business. If not, James's SAE has equipped himself with specific skills required to obtain a job in the equine industry or other industries with his communication skills, management skills, problem solving, and work ethic learned through his time in his SAE project. If you ever get the chance to visit the quiet town of Lillington, North Carolina, you can't help but notice Beyond Petals, a florist and gift shop owned and operated by FFA alum Courtney Parker. Ashlyn, a high school sophomore, became really interested in floriculture after competing on the Intro to Hort CDE team last year. For her SAE, Ashlyn knew she wanted to work at a florist shop to see if this was a career she may be interested in. Her FFA advisor put her in contact with Courtney, who was happy to have an FFA student come work for her as their SAE. A little background story is that Courtney was once in the same position as Ashlyn, and through her experiences with her own SAE, learned that she wanted to own her own florist shop one day. When Ashlyn started her SAE, she knew very little about the floriculture industry. Now, Ashlyn takes on responsibilities at the florist shop such as making bows for arrangements, helping design floral arrangements, decorating the store, and assisting customers in choosing the right arrangement. In class, Ashlyn has learned about the design materials and principles used in floral arrangements, as well as the shapes and tools used to make that arrangement. Her knowledge from the classroom helped her catch on quickly as Courtney explained each of these in more depth. Without that background knowledge, Ashlyn would have struggled in her position. Ashlyn's agriculture teacher checks in with her progress by visiting the florist shop on occasion and keeping in close contact with the business owner, Courtney, to make sure Ashlyn is meeting her expectations and accomplishing her learning goals for her SAE. Ashlyn's teachers stay up to date on her SAE project by also checking the journal entries and pictures she has input into the SAE website, theaet.com. They do this every 6 weeks just to make sure she is making progress, meeting her learning goals, and staying on track to receive her chapter degree. When you evaluate Ashlyn's SAE based on the Kolb's experimental learning model, you can see her SAE fitting into each of the components of this model. Before this SAE, Ashlyn had no experience in the floriculture industry. Now, Ashlyn has become so good at making floral arrangements, she is able to assist her other classmates, which demonstrates the concrete experience and active experimentation parts of the model. As Ashlyn spends time in her journal reflecting on her progress, she's able to identify learning objectives that she still hasn't mastered and determine what she can do to master each of her learning objectives. This thought process encompasses the reflective observation and abstract conceptualization parts of the model. The National FFA organization's motto is learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve. The FFA motto is brought to life when you look at an SAU project like Ashlyn's. Ashlyn is learning to do, which is in return helping her relate to the curriculum being taught in her agricultural education course, and then go as far as helping her help others in those classes. Ashlyn is growing as a leader while learning about potential career options. Much like Courtney's SAE project several years ago, Ashlyn is now equipped with the knowledge and skills that could potentially start her on her own journey of owning and operating a floral business. However, if Ashlyn decides that floral arrangements are better fit as a hobby, she will be able to use the skills that she has learned from her time in her SAE, such as customer service, time management, social perceptiveness, and problem solving to assist her in whatever career she chooses to do.